There's 21 of us passed. And obviously, as a boy soldier, you do 12 months as a train. And you do come out of there like a machine. You come out like a machine. So, I went in as a teenage boy, but I came out weaponized. I came out trained. I came out super. I mean, I went in fit. I did go in fit, but I came out super fit. And I remember when my mum came to the passing out parade with my nan and granddad. I mean, oh man, and my mum broke down. She just didn't recognise me. I'd lost so much weight. Because back then you're just training all day, every day. You're running all day, every day. And because I live now in Folkestone, I literally live half a mile away from Shorncliffe Camp. And I drive all around it sometimes, and I always see like the runs that we used to do.
I bought Frankie a coffee, and honestly, it just felt right. Frankie's pod has been such a comfort, something I look forward to every week. You can really feel the heart that goes into every episode. Supporting it through Buy Me a Coffee isn't just about the coffee. It helps cover the hosting, the editing, the software, all the behind-the-scenes stuff that makes the podcast possible. If Frankie's pod means something to you too, I'd really encourage you to chip in. It's a small thing, but it goes a long way. Just head to buymeacoffee.com/frankie'spod. Trust me, it's worth it.
Fire they can't hide, marching through the pass with pride. Frankie's pod is the place to confide. Frankie's pod, uncork the soul. Hear the voices, feel it roll. Veteran hearts, beating strong. One more story, one more song. Frankie's pod, yeah. Uncooking the unforgettable.
Hi, welcome back to the podcast. Tonight I'm talking to Paul Shilling. Now, Paul runs a veterans association called Jackdaw. Sorry, I'll try that again. Operation Jackdaw. Fucking teeth, eh? Right, Operation Jackdaw. I wouldn't call it an outward bounds thing, is it? It's like where you go wild camping with people and stuff like that with veterans.
Yeah, we do. Well, I suppose you could call it outward bounds because we do other activities just other than setting up a tent. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So Paul joined the 2nd Battalion Queens, was it?
Yeah, I joined the 2nd Battalion Queens Regiment as a boy soldier back in 1990. Yeah, I joined at 16. Yeah.
Yeah, I joined at 16. It's a bit of a shock for a young kid, isn't it? But
we'll
talk about that.
No, you don't. Yeah, totally. We'll have to talk about that. Yeah.
Right, so same for you. After my fluffed introduction there, where I couldn't even speak, it's the same what I ask for everybody of everybody else, which is, where did you grow up? Why did you join the military? What was it like?
Yeah.
Did you leave, and what have you done since? And that's we'll get on a bit later on. So if you just want to give us a bit of a background, like where you grew up, and what made you join the military.
So basically, I'm a Whitstable boy in Kent. Live on the seaside. Well, I used to live on the seaside. Whitstable's renowned for oysters, shipped all around the world. If anyone gets a chance to go to Whitstable, check it out. Born and bred there, family all grew up there. It's a millionaire's paradise now. So Londoners have bought it all up. So average house property is about $1 million, even for a bungalow. So I grew up there. I went to a school in Canterbury, the Archbishops. All my family had been in the army, so my family background goes all the way back to the Crimea. So I joined suit. So my dad didn't join the army. He joined the Navy, so I wasn't going to follow him. I joined the infantry. In fact, all of our family were all infantries.
Yeah.
So I joined the army as a boy soldier. Whilst I was doing school, I didn't really do well at school, to be fair. When it comes to fitness, running, athletics, PE, I was good, but and history. But other than that, I got excluded all the time. So I wasn't. What do you call it? I wasn't rude or disruptive. I just couldn't be bothered. So, and there's only so many times you can get the cane. And I was impervious to it. So, I wanted to join the army from the age of 5. I went through the Army Careers Office in Canterbury at the time, which was Roper Road. That's no longer there. And I'd done my tests, and I went to Shorncliffe as a boy soldier in 1990. Yeah.
So how was that when you turned up there? I mean, I don't care what anyone says, it's a shock.
Well, yeah, because when all these old boys turn around and someone before you and they go, "Oh, we had it hard." If you look at boy soldier training now, it's nothing like where we were now. Back then, I walked through the gate. I mean, obviously, I can't really show a lot of expletives on there because obviously I'm a teacher by trade now. So if anybody watches this, which they will do when they see it on my TikTok, I got called a spotty individual. I got called Super Ted. Remember Super Ted? Well, yeah, he called me Spotty. So this big sergeant called me Spotty, but he called me an expletive with it. You get through, and my granddad had just dropped me off, and he said, "Listen, whatever you got to do, they're going to swear at you, they're going to break you. Just let it go in one ear and out the other. Yeah, that's it. That's all it is." I went, all right. So yeah, I got called a Spotty something. I walked through the gate, and I was like, "Oh mate," I run up to the up to the accommodation. Took 6 weeks to get a uniform. There was 120 of us in our platoon as a boy soldier, and the sergeant at the time, Sergeant Osborne, he was Queen's Regiment as well, and there was 5 of us in the Queen's Regiment there, and he was going around hitting us with his pay stick, saying, "Look, you're going to get in, you're not going to get in." And he said, out the 100 odd, so he said, "Look, I'm only want 20. That's all I want.
Wow,
that's all I want." Now, on my passing out photo, which is downstairs in my toilet museum, that's all I'm allowed to keep it. He got 21. There was 21 of us passed. And obviously, as a boy soldier, you do 12 months as a training. Yeah. And you do come out of there like a machine. You come out like a machine. So, I went in as a teenage boy, but I came out weaponized. I came out trained. I came out super. I mean, I went in fit. I did go in fit, but I came out super fit. And I remember when my mum came to the passing out parade with my nan and granddad. I mean, oh man, and my mum broke down. She just didn't recognise me. I'd lost so much weight. Because back then you're just training all day, every day. You're running all day, every day. And because I live now in Folkestone, I literally live half a mile away from Shorncliffe Camp. And I drive all around it sometimes, and I always see like the runs that we used to do. And I drive past Burgoyne Gym. So Burgoyne Gym is actually one of the oldest gyms in the country. It was built in the Napoleonic times. So it's a listed building. So whenever I drive past that, I always hear the screams of all us teenage boys as we're getting beasted. Me and my mates talk about it all the time. I done that, and then I got to battalion in 91. I wasn't made to feel welcome, to be fair. There was 6 of us that got to Canterbury, Howe Barracks. I thought it was going to be a blessing. Howe Barracks, Canterbury, just down the road from my family. I got there. We were treated like crap. Really, we weren't spoken to nicely. We weren't dealt with nicely. Couple of lads.
I mean, I've spoken to lots of people on here, and and for the majority of them, it's always been the same. You come out of training thinking, especially like junior leaders, because like you say, you've done 12 months of it. You're not a sprog in your eyes.
Yes, exactly that.
In your eyes.
Yeah.
And you think, oh no, right, on to the next big adventure. And when you get to your unit, you're like, I'm just back to nothing again. And you are. That's just the way it is. You're the nig. You're the sprog that's coming in.
That's it, yeah.
And you are till the next one comes in. So you're going to get treated like that. Whether that's a good or a bad thing, it doesn't matter. It's just the way it is.
It's the way it is.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
I was quite lucky that when I got to my regiment, I'd elected to be a clerk because I thought it'd be easy. And as it turned out, I was really rubbish at it. And I got sacked after about 8 months.
Yeah.
and sent me down to the gun battery with like the roughest, toughest bloody gun number 1. And I was like, oh. And I thought that's going to happen to me. I'm going to go back to being a sprog. But because I was a clerk, it was a different environment. You know, we didn't get all the beasting and the derogatory comments and for some people the beatings, because that happens as well. You know, unfortunately, and especially with the light of what's been going on lately. You know, with the case of the young girl in and stuff like that. You know, it's coming to the fore again. Where we all like kind of go, wow, well, it was just part of being in the army then. You know? And to us it was, you know. And when you look back on it, you think, right, yeah, well, it shouldn't have been. But I've spoken to guys who joined in the 60s, and it was exactly the same for them. I think some regiments are probably a bit more harsh than others. You know, I would expect the people in the infantry to be a bit more brutal than people in the RLC, because one, it's their job to be brutal, and you know, and they're different. I wouldn't say they're a different breed, but there's a different mindset. I mean, like, you know, paras, they're going to be a bit different. You know, the Queen's Battalion and the Prince of Wales. You know, it's just the mindset and stuff like that. Yeah. You know, it is what it is. But so when you turned up, you said like you got treated not well. How bad was it as a young man?
Yeah, well, a couple of my guys, a couple of lads I joined up with, they were getting beatings all the time. And to be fair, the full screwed up, the section commander I ended up with was actually a decent bloke, to be fair. He just said, look, you know, he goes, what's your surname? And I went, Shilling. And he said, look, we've all got to have a nickname and you've got to have one. No, I will come up with your nickname tomorrow morning. Here's my boots, clean them. I went, all right. And he turned around to the lad and said, look, don't touch him. Yeah, he's all right. And, you know, and that was it. And then about the next morning, I went to his door with his boots and he said, right, come in, you got a new nickname and your nickname will stay with you for life. And I went, all right, what is it? Shirley. So Shirley Shilling. That's exactly it. So, you know, so even when I got married in the regimental journal, the Queen's Regimental Journal, it put on there, Corporal Shirley Shilling, married to, blah. So I was like, mate. So, it stuck with me for life, Shirley. So, and, you know, first of all, I went, oh, really? You know, but to be fair, the lads still call me it now. Shirley, you're right. And I would go, I wouldn't think nothing of it. But back then, we'd go out pubbing or clubbing and you'd say Shirley and the girls would go, what, you gay or something? I go, no, it's just my nickname. But I think one thing my granddad said, look, if anyone gives you hiding, give it double back, give it all your best. And about 6 weeks after I got to battalion, we went out one night and I came back early and I went to bed and they thought they'd all come in and give me a bashing. And so I got out of bed and I grabbed the broom and I spanked one of the lads as hard as I could and just done them as much as I could. And then the full screw come back in and he just said, right, that'll do. Initiation's done, and left it at that. And the bloke that got battered, he'd been in the army 2 years more than me. And he was shipped down to the bottom and I was shipped above him. It was bizarre. It's like a pecking order. And I was left alone. That was it. So, and literally straight after that, I went to Canada, come back from there. And a funny story about that, to be fair, when I didn't speak to mum and dad. I didn't really have a great relationship with my mum and dad, especially as a kid. When I joined the army, I didn't ring, I didn't write, I didn't do nothing. And I disappeared off radar for over a year. And then I went to Canada. Oh, that was it. When I come back from Canada, I went on my island tour. First island tour was 92. And I found that really rough because when I got out there, I just turned 18. And all my mates had to stay behind at Canterbury because I was one of the oldest in my intake at Shorncliffe.
Yeah.
I was only a couple of months away from hitting adult training. So when I done my first tour, I went to a place called Cookstown. And obviously I'm not going to go into politics of 1992, but people do, if they know their knowledge at 92, a lot of stuff had gone on, especially with our special forces. And And we took a kick in. They basically put signs up saying, look, welcome to... they knew we were coming. They actually said, welcome to Queens, to Cookstown. It literally was like, how the hell did they know that we were coming? And then, yeah, they just give us a kick in every day. We had so many injuries, it was unreal. And yeah, it opened my eyes up. It was really bizarre. It was almost like, we don't get this in Canterbury. You know what I mean? You get, you know, yeah, I was just shocked the amount of abuse, the amount of hidings, the amount of daily basis they want to try and kill you. Yeah, it was bizarre. And then I'd actually done a TikTok video on that actually about coming back, because there's no, I don't know, there was back then we used to get back on the plane, get to camp, put your berry on as you're getting through the camp, and then shower and go out in the booze and smash the place up.
Yeah.
And that's how we dealt with it, wasn't it? So so then after that, I come back from there. We went to Canada. No, Kenya. And when I was in Kenya, my OC called me in. Oh no, my sergeant major called me in and said, look, the boss wants to work with you. So I went there and he said, you'd said that your mum and dad had died in a car crash. And I went, yeah, that's right. And he went, well, amazingly enough, they wrote to the British Army to find out where you are. I mean,
they've recovered.
I mean, no, they survived then, and they both laughed. I mean, the boss and the sergeant major, they laughed. You know, listen, I'm not the first one they've ever probably heard across that. And the boss said, look, I've got a right. They've actually wrote to the Ministry of Defence, so I've got to reply back. I've got to write to your mum and dad and tell them you're safe and stuff like that, you know. So I got a pat on the back. You know, I didn't get a bollocking. I didn't get nothing like that. It was all good. It was all good. And then when we come back from Kenya, we caused a load of grief out of there. We come back and I got attached to mortar platoon. And I come back from there. We all got charged for bringing the army in disrepute. We all got in a bar fight like you do. And then as soon as we come back from there, we went on another island tour. And I thought, Christ, we've only been back 9 months. I've barely been home. I've literally come back, Canada tour, Kenya tour, and now we're going on another island tour. We went to another place called Clocker. We weren't exactly like that. I mean, to be fair, Northern Ireland, no one liked him in a British Army uniform. No. And I remember walking down this road, and I sat outside this old lady's house. And, well, I didn't know it was an old lady. The door opened. She hit me I got hit on the helmet. And I turned around, it was an old lady with a walking stick, smacked me on the helmet. And she turned around and said, why are you here? And obviously, we all had a mission statement. I just said, look, we're here to win hearts and minds. And she went, you won't be winning them dressed like that, will you? So, and then she said, but why are you here? Why are you here? And I just said, sorry. I didn't know what else to say. So, yeah, she gave me a cake and a full screw I was with at the time, flipped it out my hand and grabbed me like by the jacket and said, look, we're not here to take cakes. No. And then I was like, well, I'm confused. If someone gave me a cake, but we're asked to win the hearts and minds, what's that all about then? What, we're supposed to just abuse them all the time? Abuse people all the time? So, yeah, that was that. And then literally come back from that tour. Was only back a couple of months, and we went on a 2-year tour to Omar. And yeah, that was a bit of an odd tour. We lost a couple of lads, but they were pretty much through accidents and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then we come back from there, and that's literally our regiment come back, and we were only back 2 weeks, and the bomb went off.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bomb went off 2 weeks after we come back. So we come back in 97. And I do remember, I still look at it now when, you know, the bomb went off outside Woolworths and the Vauxhall Cavalier. I used to walk in there all the time. I used to walk down the El Paso bar that was there and, you know, have beers in there. That got demolished. It all got obliterated. And I was like, mate, it's all bizarre. And we'd come back from that tour.
You see, I can't, that's something I could never get my head around, right? Sorry to interrupt, like, but so the tours I did of Ireland, you know, I did it quite an easy one. The Maze was my first one in '89, yeah. and then we went out again and done a tour 1997 down in Besborough. You know, and on my first tour, I ended up having to go to Lisbon, to the headquarters, for a medical appointment. And I wasn't getting picked up till later on in the day. And I was like, oh, what do I do now? And somebody in the NAFI just went, well, have a walk downtown. And I was like, what? Do what? He said, yeah, just go downtown. It's Lisbon, it's fine. I was like, no, it's Northern Ireland. Everyone wants to kill me. And they're like, no, just go. So I went to the guard room. I says, can I book out? They says, yeah. I says, have you got a weapon? And they were like, what do you want one of them for? I said, I'm fucking going out. I was, yeah, you don't need one. And I was like, this is not right. You know what I mean? I was like, everywhere there was an IUC bloke, I was stood behind him, like, trying to feel safe for that. Well, the only thing I got out of that was a bag of pick and mix out of Woolies.
Yeah.
And a DVD of Bros.
Yeah.
Which I took back to the maze with a DVD with video. Not DVD, a video. Fucking hell. Getting old.
Well, there was a famous nightclub in 5 Mile Town, which is a bit of a drive from Omar. And we found that on our 93 tour. And there was always loads of birds there. And anyway, it's a red zone, so you can't go there. Yeah. But I can say it now, so I'm not really particularly bothered. The army can't do anything for me now. But we used to hire out, we used to get a car. So we used to get a car from the motor pool and tell him we're going to a green zone. And we drove to Omar. Parked it up, and then went clubbing. We did this every weekend. They never clicked on. Right, so one weekend, we went there, we parked it up, and we went in, and we were chatting to these Irish birds. Says, Irish women, they're all right. They got a mouth, but they're all right. Nice ladies, they're all right. Anyway, so we're in there having a good old chat with these girls, and 2 lads came along, and they basically said, listen, we're starting to get a bit sick to death with you English blokes. And they were like, you know, IRA sympathisers or whatever, and they just said, look, you know, we know you boys are not armed. We know you boys are out on the drink. We don't want you here. You need to stick to the other side of the disco. You talk to the proddy birds. Stop chatting up the Catholic birds. So we got to a point where we would ask women, "Are you a Catholic or Protestant?" And they would seem like so what would you call it? So hacked off that you'd ask that question.
Yeah.
But the Irish lads, like the big guns, were like, you know, you stick to that side, you stick to the proddy side of the bar, and it's all good. And even now I comprehend. Back then I was a young lad. I didn't care. I was like, whatever. I'm just drinking my beer. I'm chatting the birds up. But the lads were like, you need to ask them, Shields, if they're proddy birds or they're Catholics. And I went, mate, I mean, does it really matter what religion they are? And then the following week, we went to, they always had a burger van outside this place. And there was 5 of us. We managed to cram 5 of us in a Rover 216. That's the car I remember, 216. And we used to get one, if there was 6 of us, one of us used to get in a boat and go home. Anyway, so we were lining up in a burger van. And we used to do it all the time, get burgers. And, you know, we'd be sitting there chatting to girls. It was all good, no grief. I mean, anyone could come along and, you know, do a shoot.
Yeah.
And in fact, they're saying where the burger van was placed in the 93 tour was where, unfortunately, the 2 police officers were executed when they were leaving one of their houses. They used the same route all the time. And we used to patrol that, and we got called out in QRF, and it wasn't a pleasant sight when we got there. But the burger van was situated on that bit of road, and we always used to talk about what had happened a couple of years previously. Anyway, so we're there. We'd had too much to drink. There must have been about a queue of 50 people, big old lads and stuff like that. And then one of my mates, he's still living, so I won't mention his name. But if he's watching, he will know what I'm talking about. He turned around and said, "Listen, we're the British Army. We don't wait for no one for a burger. I want to get to the front." Well, mate, as you can imagine, it unleashed fury. Now, at that moment in time, there was a bus from Dungannon, and it was full of rugby players. Well, as you can imagine, it ended up like 5 versus like this rugby team. We got an absolute kicking. They didn't kill us. They just give us hiding. They give us hiding. One of my mates.
Nice of them.
Hey?
That's nice of them.
Yeah, ridiculous. Just fake, just go on. And so yeah, we got back from there, and we come back from that tour, and we ended up in the new super barracks that was built called Moulton Barracks in Tidworth. It was the most up to date, high tech barracks of the British Army at the time. And so we ended up there, and believe it or not, you know, the army probably pays billions and millions to contractors. Yeah, we moved into this super barracks. It looked smart, smelt nice, but nothing worked. We stayed there, and we done another tour of Kenya, and then as soon as we come back from Kenya, they went, "You're going on another island tour." So I'd consumed 4 tours within, was it 4 tours of islands in, about 5 years, about 5 years, less than that probably, yeah. And that was Belfast, and we got put in the
very different then, very different.
Well, this tour, the last tour I'd done was probably mentally the most hardest, because we were put in the towers. So I ended up in a place called Templar House. I was trying to, my missus, like, she can't comprehend it. So basically, there was 12 of us in the top floor in a block of flats, and the flats below you, or the whole ream of that flat below you, was all filled with concrete, so they couldn't blow you up directly without damaging anything else below. And there's 12 of us in this flat. And it was pretty much the average size of a bungalow, 12 of you in that. And we'd done 6 months in that. We had control of the lift. You couldn't leave the tower. You couldn't go out and patrol. We were basically an observation tower. And food was delivered to you. So you did your shopping list, sent it off to battalion, and there was an armed police escort that would come down, so you couldn't use the same day or any. It used to be random times. You control the lift, you send it down, you get the food in, and then you come back up, and that was it. They said no alcohol was allowed, but the police used to drop crates of beer off on that, because there was 24 hours notice before anyone from battalion come and visit you. So we used to get pissed up. So so telling them now, I don't care now, but back then we used to get hammered and watch football or do our duties. Obviously, we always done our duty. We were never straight to duty, but we clicked on quickly that, hang on a minute, no one's come to visit us, so they have to give 24 hours so we can get absolutely hammered. So if you weren't on duty, we'd get hammered. But as you can imagine, after the first month, the novelty wore off.
Yeah.
Then after the second month, people started tearing each other's heads off. Third month, people started fighting. There was a hierarchy. You had your sergeant, your full screw, your lance jacks, your toms. And then after that, you set into a routine. Just get into a routine, day to day. The hours just go, the hours come. And then I remember one of the lads. He sadly passed away now, but he struggled. He struggled mentally with it. It was almost like being in a U-boat. It's not like being in a submarine. You can't walk out. Yeah. And I know for a fact that people start to go do laddie, because a unit before us, they when we were doing a handover takeover, like you do wherever you go, they were so excited about someone committing suicide. They videoed someone doing that. They videoed someone jumping off the opposite tower block. Videoed it all the way. And I was like, mate, they were like buzzing about it, and me and the lads were like, mate, this is it's not my bag. This is not what I'm here for. And about 1 month before the end of our tour, it all kicked off, because we had to observe this bar that was below us. They always used to fire fireworks off, small arms, stuff like that. I mean, they're never going to get us. No way. And I remember watching, it was New Year's Eve, and there was a big fight outside, and loads of these blokes stamped this bloke to death. They just killed him. And I found it so bizarre, but we had to video it. We had to video it for police evidence and stuff. And I called the police. We called the direct police line to say, look, some geezer's he's getting done. He's bleeding out. He can't have long left, because once they'd filled him in, they went back into the pub. And the police turned around and said, "We ain't coming down there. We'll wait till the morning." I went, "Yeah, but he'll be dead." And I went, not our concern. We're not risking officers to come down there. So they waited at the top of the road with the ambulance. They waited for about 5-6 hours. He bled out. He died. They come down in the morning, picked his body up and drove off. And I was trying to explain that when I got back home to see my mates, because it wouldn't happen here, would it? It wouldn't happen in England, would it? The police would never stop off at a corner road and go, "Well, no, we'll leave it. We'll wait till he dies." So I found that really bizarre. It's one of these little things that niggles me sometimes in my head. And we come back from there. Some of the lads went, a bit downhill. Alcohol was large amounts of alcohol consumed. And then I sort of, I cracked up a little bit. I wasn't quite right. And I got back from there, went out, and the boss said, "Look, I don't want anyone fighting." And I did. I came back and I went out and I started fighting and drinking heavily. And then I burnt myself out. So I was called in, and they sent me down to the army recruiting team just to chill out for a bit, just to regain because I was quite thought of, which is fair enough, and I still stay in touch with my colonels and some of the majors I was with. They stay in touch, and I was looked after, to be fair. And obviously,
I mean, if you think back at just that tour alone and what you went through, like you said, you were stuck in it felt like a submarine for 6 months.
No, if you check it, I mean, it's still. Listen, I've googled Templar House, so if you Google Templar House Belfast, it's still there. Yeah.
No, I mean the guys. We used to do the permanent VCPs down on the border, and that was like that. There was them big fucking metal boxes that you walked in with submarine doors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you went in there and you never came back outside again, because the guys who were manning them very rarely came out and done say like a clearance patrol round or anything like that, because you have to put cameras everywhere. And even though the guys were only down there for so many weeks at a time, and then they'd swap back over and they'd go to another tower, or they'd go to another tower, the Romeo towers. That was mental on them. I mean, my first tour was the maze, and we did the towers round the maze.
Yeah,
and it's 9 on 9 off.
Yeah.
And just that, you just stood staring, especially at the maze. You just stood staring at nothing.
Yeah.
Like, actually, there's a wall.
Yeah.
There's some prison windows. The only enjoyment we used to get was turning the big torches on and shining them in the windows, trying to wake them up.
Shark's eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, the towers had like searchlights on them.
All right. Yeah.
So we'd turn them on, and then we got told off for turning them on because when it shone through their window, they were that bright that it set motion sensors off.
Yeah.
So we thought people were trying to climb the fence so that the prison QRF would get sent out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Sorry, lads. We thought it was a rabbit.
Yeah. So,
well, I mean, if you're stuck in just like a mundane environment like that, that's so monotonous, your brain's going to just melt. You're not getting exercise, and your mind's not getting any exercise.
No,
so it's going to kill you.
No, they had a built-in gym there, but listen, lads done that and works out on stuff, but or you write letters, or we had a phone there so you could phone out, but a majority of the time we were like pen pals. We got our buzz from going and back a Soldier magazine back at the time and writing to about 50 birds and seeing if you get letters or some phone cards or whatever. Just get a buzz when you get a bucket full of letters, even if one of them said get lost. I mean, I'm buzzing. So but yeah, that was that. But my main ambition when I first joined the army was to be an army sniper, and I managed to qualify in 92.
Right.
And I got a buzz from that, and I didn't feel, I felt so proud walking around battalion with, my 2 crossed rifles and an S badge, for the sniper badge, because there was only a few of us there, and you are the chosen few. And I went on carders and on courses, and I wasn't used a lot. I was used a couple of times in Ireland, but not a lot. I didn't actually get to use it. And then when we come back from 98 tour, I got sent to the Infantry Trials Development Unit team, and they were testing the new 50 caliber anti-materiel rifle. And I spent about 4 or 5 months in Alaska, which was cool. That was cool. Bit of a pompous officer that was in charge of us. But other than that, you were treated like gods, to be fair. Worked with the Marines out there. They were good. You could tell that the Marines are a bit gung-ho, but, at the end of the day, I enjoyed my time there, come back from there. And I've done my stint in the Army recruiting team. I became like an outdoors activity advisor. And I enjoyed that. And that sort of... and then that sort of propelled me to get ready for Civvy Street. I had a bit of a bad time with my wife at the time. We'd lost a baby and she went a bit downhill. So basically on suicide watch. And then I was like, and then I got the notice to say that my time was ending and then we're going to do another 2-year tour of Ireland. And I was like, I can't be doing any more. I can't do 5 back to back. I've got to go. So I got out. And one of my army mates gave me a job working for a company called Impact. And what it was an army preparation course, the early days army preparation course, getting these teenagers into the army. I loved it. Loved it.
I mean, how prepared were you at getting out?
Oh, none at all. 100% none. I went, listen, because I'd done 15, I had quite a lot of money stashed for resettlement courses. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no one advised me what to do, so I'd done it on TV satellite, just wasting the money. I went, I did TV satellite. I've never used it. Security management, never used it. And then when I got out of the army, I'd already had a job lined up. But the army was quite good at the time, so they gave me gardening leave. So I got 6 months pay whilst being out and getting paid civvy job. But I'd gone from like 27, 28k as a full screw down to 16k civvy job. So I only done this job for a year, and then I'd seen that a brand new school had been built in Folkestone called the Folkestone Academy, and I rung up the advert, and this bloke answered it. And I won't say surname, but his name was Matt, quite high up as a school leader. And he said, look, I like the sound of you, mate. He said, but we're giving all the jobs out, but come down and have a chat with us. So I went down and had a chat. Someone pulled out and I got a job working in a school. And it propelled my school career, to be fair. I really enjoyed it, got on well. And I've been doing it ever since. Yeah, so I've been working...
So what do you do with the schools? I mean,
actually...
I take it you're not a maths teacher.
And definitely not a technical one as well, mate. I don't do nothing with IT. No. So I used to teach a bit of PE, but my main task is dealing with behaviour in secondary schools.
Right.
So that's what I do, deal with behaviour in secondary schools. Which for some early doors, so 2007, 2008, no, what we're talking about, 2005 to 2008, a lot of secondary schools in Kent were employing ex-army. And I thought it worked well because they were transitioning into schools. Kids can't get into ex-soldiers' heads, can't get into them. Kids, they're learning machines. They pick up habits. They want to know everything. They will try and pick holes. They will try and find a chink in your armour. But they couldn't do it. Do you know what I mean? So, because the Americans have picked up that idea, transitioning from the army, getting them into schools, dealing with behaviour, being teachers. You're more tolerant, aren't you? You can take a lot of grief, but you can also give a lot of grief out. Obviously, you can't do anything physical these days. So that's what I've done. That's what I've done since 2000. And I've been working in school since 2007. I'm now in my third school. Yeah.
Do you think that? I mean, you alluded to earlier that you weren't a model student, let's say. And as much as I would think back to my time at school, I wasn't. I was a little shit, to be honest. Yeah. Never got to the point where I was going to get expelled or anything like that, but got really close to it. Yeah. Do Do you think that back then, I'm trying to think now, back then, we only had a couple of teachers there where us unruly pupils wouldn't muck about in their class.
Yeah.
Right? And as it turns out, they were both ex-military. One was ex-SBS, and another guy was, I think he was ex-Marines. Maybe he was a woodworker. They both worked in the woodworking department. But none of us would muck about with them because they just had a different bearing around them. You know what I mean? It was like you just didn't muck about. But I mean, in my day, you got to slap on the back of the head off a teacher
Yeah.
if you're playing up. Do you think that? Because I know you've mentioned what you did. I know a few guys up this way who do similar things. One with schools, and one, a couple of guys have moved into mental health nursing and looking after young adults and unfortunate people who are suffering from mental health at a young age. Do you think, obviously, with what you're doing there, is really, really a good thing? It obviously is a good thing, but do you think it really, really helps these young kids who probably wouldn't?
Yeah, because they look at you as a role model. Because I do tell them, I like dealing with the unruly ones a bit, but I always tell them when they think they've got one over you, and I always say to them, listen, I'm you. I am you. I done what you've done. Whatever you think is new is not new, it's old. But I'm always like, a kid came up to me the other day actually and said, I don't like Mr. So-and-so. And I was like, oh, right. And they went, well, you're all right, sir, because you just say it how it is. You're firm and fair. That's it. I don't flit it one way. I don't have favourites. Everyone's treated the same. Yeah. If they've done something wrong, there's a sanction, or I'll have a word with them. If they've done something right, they get a pat on the back. That's it. So all the kids I've ever dealt with for the last 18 years or whatever, even some now. So I'll go to the local pub and I'll walk through the door and they go, all right, Shilling, like that. And some of these guys are in their early 30s, late 20s, and they got kids and they're married. They go, all right, Shilling, do you want a beer? I'm sorry for being a bit of a, when I was younger, but you're all right, you are. And do you know what? I've never been abused. Now, bearing in mind, folks in the academy is literally at less than 1 minute walk from my house, and I was there 13 years. I can go to any pub. I've never been abused, and all these guys live around it. So I think that counts for something. Because if I was a bit of a prat, a bit of a wrong un, or I was a crap member of staff or whatever, I'd be getting grief all the time. But I can go anywhere, and I've never had an ounce of grief, nothing. So I think I've always dealt with people fairly. I mean, I was dealt with fairly. My old English teacher, Mr. Brooke, he was an ex-cavalry officer, and he turned me around the right way. Do you know what I mean? So it's just one of those, isn't it? So, but yeah, so
I just want to go back a little bit. So you mentioned before we started recording that you joined 2nd Battalion Queens. Do you know what? 2 Queens. We used to put in the 80s, right? Each battalion's got a battery that supports them for artillery.
Right.
Yeah, we supported 2 Queens.
Yeah.
And I got a kicking. I've just remembered it.
Well, it won't be me, mate, because I didn't join till
No. This was like this was about 88. We were playing enemy.
Germany.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we were in Saltow, and we got to play the enemy for the battle group.
Yeah.
They dug big zigzag trenches, like the Russian ones.
That's it. Yeah.
And we got through in them, and we were bored. So all the thunder flashes, we were wrapping Don 10 round them with barbed wire. Right, and all of a sudden, all these chieftains come over. That's how long ago it was. They were chieftains. And they come over the horizon, followed by all these 4.32s. So we're getting attacked. I mean, the guys jumped out the back and started bomb bursting towards the trenches. We were throwing all these thunder flashes. Yeah. And all it was them going off, and people going, and falling over. We were like, maybe we've gone too far. By the time they got the trenches, they knew what we'd done. Yeah, we got a kicking. Like a proper kicking off the lads. I mean, self-inflicted, let's say. But,
yeah.
No, it was a good crack. It was actually a good crack. What I was going to say was, or what I was going to ask was, So you mentioned that you joined Two Queens, but it then amalgamated or it changed to the Prince of Wales.
Yeah, the army.
What was that like? What was that bit like?
Yeah, that wasn't good. It wasn't pleasant time. Obviously, the army had massive cutbacks. Cold War had pretty much ended, done. The army was too big. There weren't hardly any conflicts going on. Just Northern Ireland. Government was skint. And so obviously they shred the army big time. They were whacking out redundant packages all over the place. And I remember getting on the battalion square and the colonel said, look, we may be safe, but we may have to we may have to amalgamate with a different regiment. We'll keep in touch. And we amalgamated with the Royal Hampshire Regiment. And then as it slowly began to come to materialise, blokes refused to take their berries off. There was always in-depth fighting. So, as you can imagine, you had 1 Queen's, 2 Queens, 3 Queens, and one Royal Hampshire battalion, all squeezed and condensed into 2 battalions. So as you can imagine, there was a lot of wastage, a lot of shredding of redundancies, and squeezed 2 full man-pound and two fully manned battalions. It didn't go well at all. It wasn't hot. Listen, it wasn't harmonious.
No.
There was a lot of in-depth fighting, a lot of arguing. And even up until the point I got up when you had mess dues, it'd still be the tiny little bit of sarcastic animosity. We were this, we of the royal, this, that, and the other. There's still a load of that crap. All that internal battalion politics.
Yeah, but it's pride. It's
pride.
Of course.
Yeah, listen, of course, of course. And to be fair, if you were part of that, then if you were part of that amalgamation. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if lads join PWRR now, they're entitled to wear their PWRR tie. But us lads, including the Royal Hampshire Regiment, we're entitled to wear a Queen's Regiment tie, a Queen's Regimental blazer, PWRR blazer, PWRR tie, which I've got both. And same with the Royal Hampshire Regiment. They're entitled to wear their blazer of former regiment and their new one. And there's not many people that can say they can do that. But other than that, yeah, it wasn't harmonious. Yeah. And I think our first operational tour as a brand new battalion or brand new regiment was 93. That was our first operational tour where we all had to be mates, get on.
Yeah. And sometimes that's what it takes to do it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So, that was that. Yeah. Yeah.
Look, I mean, like we know, when you're stuck in camp, the boredom kicks in, this, that, and the other, and the years are going to be that. But when you're out on a tour, you're professional. You do what you need to do.
Yeah, of course.
And you just knuckle down and get on with it.
Yeah.
So I mean, you've left it. So we'll jump forward again. You've left the army. You've started in the schools. I mean, the transition. It sounds like you were quite lucky. You went straight into a job, and then you've gone into something that you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
But how hard was that? I mean, for me personally, it was. I thought I was fine until years later, and then I realised I wasn't. And that's what happens for a lot of people. Some people struggle straight away. Some people get out and they're like, "Oh, great!" I was in the army for 27 years, and I've been out 12 years, and I'm still looking around going, "I still don't know what I'm doing." Type of thing. Because we are a different type of people. Yeah. Unfortunately.
I've been out 20 years this year.
Yeah, and we all say this, if people are watching on podcasts and YouTube and TikTok and stuff like that, and they'll hear veterans say, we're not civvies, we're a different type of people, and it sounds as though we're trying to big ourselves up, but we're not. We are different.
Of course.
We've been broke down at an early age, at a formative age of 16 to 24, and they're your real formative ages that make you what you are for the rest of your life.
Yeah, listen, you've hit the nail on the head, to be fair. Because like I said, I joined the army at 16, and I used to come home on weekends and stay at my nan's. So after 6 months training, you come out, like go and visit with your nan or whatever. And then I'd missed the teenage years. I'd missed that gap of growing up between 16 and 18. I missed my civvy mates. And then when I come back from my first island tour, I didn't miss any of it. They seemed more immature. It was like really bizarre. And I remember coming back from the 93 tour. Yeah, it was 93, 92, 93. It was just shortly. Yeah, I think it was after my mum and dad episode of the car crash, and they survived miraculously. I came home and I bought some fireworks. I tell you, I was 92 because I stayed at my nan's. Yeah, I come back from my first tour and I went out and bought some fireworks to go out in a booze with my civvy mates. And I came home and my granddad picked me up. And I had a chat with him and he said, how was it? And I said, oh, it weren't pleasant, blah, blah, blah. Because he was in North Africa and during the war. And he'd obviously seen a lot. He didn't say a lot. He just patted me on the back and poured me a glass of port, which at the time I thought was disgusting, but now I love the stuff. And then he just said, look, don't go worrying your nan. Don't go worrying your nan. That's all he kept saying, don't go worrying your nan. Anyway, so the next thing, my nan come downstairs and started having a moan at me, yeah? And she went, and my granny, well, what are you moaning at? She went, he's got these. I've just found these under his bed. Do you know what it was? A box of fireworks. Just a box of fireworks. And she said, you're not old enough for them. That's what she said. I went, Nan, I've just come back from Northern Ireland. I've had people trying to kill me every day. And she went, no, took them off me. She said, you're not old enough, you'll hurt yourself. My nan said that, you'll hurt yourself. So, I love my nan to bits. And my granddad just looked at me, just looked at me as if saying, look, don't just let her take them. So she threw them in the bin. So I was like, I looked at my granddad. I remember I know what I was having. I was having a corned beef salad. I was having with my granddad. And he just, I went, right, I'm going out now, Nan. Right, don't be late. And my granddad gave me some more money because back then, as a Tom, them days you were paid a pittance. So, and I'd already boozed it up, because when you got paid at the end of the month, we lived like kings for a couple of days.
Yeah. Millionaires weekend.
So my granddad gave me some money to get yourself some fireworks. So I'll never forget that story. Yeah, but I adapted all right. To be fair, I worried at first, but I didn't. And everything was all right. And then round about 2010, something personal happened in my life, which then set the wheels in motion for everything else to come out, which was really bizarre. Everything else that had been built up all come flooding out at the same time, and I couldn't cope. And I did try taking my own life in 2010, and it didn't go well. And obviously I'm still here, but I had to have intense counselling. And things turned around for me all right. I was able to process things and get things done with counsel was all right. So yeah, I've just been on a road to recovery. I'm always getting some dark thoughts sometimes, don't we all? And even people that have never been in the army. Yeah, we all have them. It's just how
everyone has slow moods.
Oh, listen, of course they do, but it's how you deal with it. And that's pretty much a few years ago. That's how Operation Jackdaw came about. Because some of the lads.
Sorry to interrupt again. Just before you go on to Operation Jackdaw, and I just want to say something I say in nearly every one of these podcasts, is the thing I've found is that talking, even if it's, what got me to talk was talking to a counsellor. What got me to talk was talking to people like yourself on the podcast.
Yeah.
But talking and being honest. If somebody asks you a question and saying, are you all right? Don't just go, yeah, I'm all right.
Say no.
You don't have to tell them everything.
Yeah.
But sometimes just that first conversation is enough to get you over the threshold as to either go and seek help or whatever. It's talking and being honest with yourself as well. Everyone is, like you said then, it's not just the forces who, suffer from suicides and self-harm and dark thoughts and PTSD and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's actually you know, I've said it before and I'll say it again. People in the veterans community think it's up there, you know, where, you know, veteran suicides. No veteran should be committing suicide, but they think it's up there in the statistics. It's not. It's very, very low. Right? You're in one of the highest professions for suicide in the UK, right? Especially amongst female teachers. It's the highest one for females. For males, it's the labour and building industry, and that's where the most come from there. Again, I'm not trying to diss, you know, veterans or anything like that, but it's quite a low. But then there's a lot more of them than there is of us. You know what I mean? So the statistics kind of pan out, but it's getting better as well. The scale of suicide in the UK has gone up recently, but it's starting to level off and come back down a little bit because people, you know, people are talking more openly about mental health and stuff like that. Yeah. And that's where things like social media come in. You know, a lot of everyone says, "Oh, social media is a bad thing for upsetting people. People, you know, people commit suicide because of it." It's also done a lot of good where it's got people to talk about it and it's got information out to people.
Yeah.
And then you get to do things, you know, you're moving on to what you've done now is like another aspect of it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, what gave you the idea for Operation Jackdaw and how did that form?
Well, obviously, being an ex-infantry bloke, the thought of me camping turned me out. I've never done any camping since I left the army. And then around about, about 3 years ago, 2-3 years ago, I was bored one time on some holidays, and one of my mates went, "Listen, why don't we go and reminisce up at Round Hill Woods, at the top of by the Channel Tunnel?" And that was the first ever time I'd done my first night exercise in Shorncliffe as a junior soldier. Yeah, I've always looked at it. I've always been fascinated with this bit of wood. I've never been up there since then. Right? I was like, do you know what? Yeah, I ain't doing nothing. Yeah, why not? Let's get some beers. Let's just go up there, stick bang in the tent. So 4 of us went up there. We got in there. We put our tents up. We cracked open some beers, done a bottle of wine. We had a little cheese board. We got a fire going. We had listen, right? So Operation Jackdaw, the cheese board comes in big time. Anyway, so we had a bottle of wine, and we had a fire going. We just sat around talking about the old times and, you know, all the mates in there and you know, where our first shell scrape was in this wood. And I really enjoyed it. Anyway, next morning I got up and I said, I've got to do this again. So about a couple of weeks later, I've done it again and I got some more lads involved. Anyway, so this time, exactly the same. Got a little cheese board out, done the wine. It went down great. Next morning, this woman came in with a dog. I remember it clearly. Started having a moan at us. She went, "You soldiers," right? And I didn't, before I got to say anything, my mate turned around to her and he's ex-army as well. Me and him were the same battalion together. He went, "Why are you?" He caught her out straight away. She went, "Well, no." He went, "Well, go away then." Right, so she walks off. As we were packing up, we come out of this bit of wood. This army ranger come along, you know, this Serco, he's the warden.
Yeah.
Come racing across. This geezer gets out in his 94 in his MTP kit. He breathes in. Yeah, fat kit. He breathes in. He starts giving us loads of grief. What's this? Why you got this army gear in front? Like, starts shouting at us. Yeah. So I threw him sleeping bag on the floor. I went, "Mate, why are you giving it the big end?" I said, "Listen, right, look at us. Do we look like a bunch of thugs? I see this here. It's a rubbish bag full of rubbish. Yeah. I'll tell you what we're. I said, look, we're all ex-junior soldiers. We've been out of the army like 19, 18 years. We just come up here to reminisce, have a drink, and that's that." This geezer calmed down. He literally, like, he must have forgot that he breathed in because all the air come out and then he see how big he was. Right. And then he calmed down. He said, "All right, boys, yeah, blah, blah, blah." I said, "Look, you know, the Ukrainians are on the other side training," which they were. And I need to say, "Look, you know, I'll be up here waiting for you again if you come up here." And I said, "No, you won't, because you won't know we're up here. You can't come up here every day," which annoyed him a little bit. He said, "Well, I'll get you done by the police." I said, "Police won't do nothing. They'll just say, 'Can you get off?'" I said, "But to be honest, right, I won't bother." Anyway, so we left it at that because we just toyed with him. And about a week later, I went to the pub and I was chatting to my mate. And if you look on the Jackdaw website, www.operationjackdaw.co.uk, it's got the team on there. And me and my mate Kai were sitting in this pub. He's into holistic mental health and all this stuff. He's never been in the army, but he's a good friend of mine. And he said, look, why don't we do wild camping for veterans and mental health and all this kind of stuff? And I went, yeah, sounds good. So Operation Jackdaw was pretty much, as they say, designed on the back of a fag packet. We had no money. We didn't know where to start. And then we thought, well, where we need to start is we need some land. You can't just go wild camping. You may know yourself, wild camping in England, Wales, Northern Ireland, whatever is illegal. You can't just rock up.
Yeah.
So I wrote to the landowner that owns Tappington Hall. So Tappington Hall is quite a famous historic building. It's actually where the knights that killed Thomas à Becket fled to. It's just outside Canterbury in a place called Denton. So I wrote to him. I wrote to Tappington Hall. I don't know who owned it. I just wrote to Tappington Hall. Within 2 days, this bloke phoned me because I left my number there. And he said, listen, you can't stay around the area of Tappington Hall because there's loads of wood. He said, but I own my own woods. It's just up the road, opposite the Jackdaw pub. I went, right, cool. So I met him there and he said, I've got 150 acres. You can use it whenever. Free of charge. I love what you do. I love what you want to do. I went, mate, this is amazing. So we've now got 150 acres of woods. Yeah. So me and Kai went up there, took the dog for a walk. I'm telling you, this is 100% truth because me and him talked about this the other day. Yeah. We've probably only circumnavigated 60 acres of it. It's vast. You know what I mean? There's so much to look at. And we found our own little patch that we wanted. And then I said, right, now we've got this sorted. Right, let's have a chat to the Jackdaw pub, which is situated a mile exactly. So we went down there, spoke to the landlady and the landlord, and they've been amazing. Hence, so the Jackdaw, the Operation Jackdaw is based on them, the pub, yeah. But actually, the Jackdaw pub's historic as well because that's where the Spitfire pilots used to drink back in the day because the aerodrome is just up the road. So it's got a little historic, and the Jackdaw pub was actually the pub in the film Battle of Britain. You know the pub they drive to?
Yeah.
That's the pub.
Oh, wow.
That's the Jackdaw pub. Anyway, so, and also as well, when you drink outside the Jackdaw, there's loads of jackdaws. They live in the trees and you see them flying around. So Kai designed the Jackdaw badge, which is, you know, it's a nice badge. And then I then approached my regiment. They weren't too keen at first. They basically said, look, someone had the same idea and took money from the regiment and didn't deliver. I went, well, look, okay, how about I set it up, we get it running, we do a few camps, you come down, you see what we're doing, and you go by that. And they were like, yeah, okay, let's do that. So the Jackdaw pub said, look, you can have the car park for free. You can have all the veterans fill the car park up. All they need to do was buy a soft drink, a beer, whatever. But that changed. The landlord was like, no, don't bother that. I don't want anyone to buy a drink if they don't need to, because he likes meeting people as well. So then we started spreading the word, getting our friends involved. And then the regiment put it on Facebook and the social media. And then I wrote to Soldier magazine. They took a great interest. So they put an article out, which they did. That got more interest. And then the biggest seller for us was YouTube. I reached out to a YouTuber, Chris Fornell. He's our first ever YouTuber, Chris Fornell, and his YouTube name is Screaming Delcom. He's ex-army lad. And he came down and done some bushcraft skills with all the boys and stuff like that. And he filmed it. He said, look, all I want is the film rights. You know, that's how they make the money. And so YouTube propelled us big time.
Yeah.
Big time. So if you go on YouTube and you just type in Operation Jackdaw, there's about 8 or 9 different YouTubers on there. And then contacted another one. And then after that, another one, invited a different one each time. And we have one that comes down all the time now. It's called Neil Andrews, and he's from Greencraft. You know, he's turned into a good friend of mine. In fact, all the YouTubers are all good friends of mine. I'll talk to them all the time, and they come down. So YouTubers helped us. Soldier magazines helped us. Then we got on the radio. Then things started to propel. Now, as you can imagine, we've all got jobs. So it literally is, Operation Jackdaw has turned into a bit of a full-time job. And I don't know whether I made the mistake to go on TikTok, because I said to the lad, because Ant Middleton's got involved. So one of the lads in our team's related to Ant Middleton. It's Darren in the team is related to him. And he said, look, I will give Ant Middleton a bell, chuck all the Operation Jackdaw stuff to him and see what he says. Well, Ant Middleton went, all right, I'll do a video for you. I've had that video for a while. And then I set up a TikTok account, stunk Ant Middleton's video on there about Operation Jackdaw. And if you've seen our TikTok account, it's just gone massive. Literally, we've only been on there 7-8 weeks, and the amount of people that contact me every day, like message me, is unreal. It literally got to a point where I was struggling to sustain contacting people, and that's propelled us. Literally, our camps for this year, they're all up on the website. They're just filling up beyond belief. I got a shout out the other day from a Marine from Massachusetts in America. So people from worldwide are reaching out to us and stuff like that. And then other people say, look, why don't you just do little videos about things? So I just started doing that. And then my dad got involved and bought us our own woods. So last February, my dad went out and bought some woods for us, which is 12 acres. And that's literally 5-minute drive for me here, and it's only 10 minutes from the Operation Jackdaw site. So we have people come from all over the country visit us. It's just TikTok it's a bittersweet pill, if that makes sense.
No, I know what you mean.
I put a comment filter on there. I've had a couple of stupid comments on there. But 99% of the people that I've dealt with on there have been really nice, because the videos that I do, they talk about mental health, they talk about Operation Jackdaw. I don't really sidetrack it. Do you know what I mean? There've been some really nice people out there who've literally reached out and said, look, mate, I want to be part of this. Like, for instance, the T-shirt that I'm wearing. So when we first started Operation Jackdaw, we bought our own T-shirts. Kai designed the badge for free, and we got one of our mates to do it, just print them and put our name on the back. But there's a company called, there's a lad called Lee, called Black Ops Clothing. He's on YouTube.
I've heard of them, yeah.
Top man. So he basically said, look, I'll design your T-shirt. And I said, that's cool, mate, but put the Black Ops logo on, which he has. And so he designed them and the hats for the lads, and that's all free. So he's done the whole season's worth of kit for us. So he's been a great advocate, and other people have donated money and bits and bobs, So it's been instrumental. I
was going to say the financial aspect of it. How are you finding that?
So we get funding from the regiment. The regiment now, they couldn't do any more for us. They give us kit, they give us money. They're always on hand. They've been down to visit us. So the main thing I wanted from the regiment was, because Princess Wales Royal Regiment is based in the Tower of London. Yeah, and they have very strict guidelines on what they put the funds to. So the best thing is, look, I can gloss everything over. I can tell you what you may want to hear. I can tell you what we do, but the best thing is you come down and see us. Experience what we do. Yeah, which they did. They come down, experienced it, which then gave us the rubber stamp. Yeah, I told the lads, look, these big guns are coming. Let's not put on a show. Let's just do what we always do in every single camp. Let's not do anything different. Let's not do anything special for them. Let's do what we do. They come down, rubber stamped it, and said, look, we love it. So, we're always doing updates for them. Always in Facebook messages, always on the phone, emails. All they like is, advertisement for the Princess of Wales Royal Regiment, and why not? You can't knock that.
Yeah, sure.
So regards to that, people have donated kit. We had a rifle company get hold of us, donate rifles. One of my mates, Ollie, that I was in battalion with, mate, this bloke's never going to leave the army. So he joined the army in 89. He's still in. He's full-time reserve. So he deals with all the cadet training teams and stuff like that, but he's still in. I said to him, mate, you need to get out at some point, mate, you little saddo. So, he gets us loads of rations and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So, all the food's catered for. I mean, when we do the ration packs, I take my dog. My dog just eats it, right? Because I don't eat it anymore. Anyway, so what I said about the cheese board is, we said, look, let's do a niche. Let's do something different that nobody else does. And we now do a big cheese board in the woods. So we are, and the operation to the Jackdaw pub. So we started doing it first of all. And as you can imagine, right, just a block of cheese on its own ain't cheap. No. But when you buy a brie, you buy Stilton, you buy cheddar, and you buy 4 or 5 different other cheeses that no one's ever heard of. And then you buy your crackers, your pickles, your chutneys, and your paper plates. It costs money. Now, the Jackdaw pub, the landlord, is amazing, Graham. He turned around and said, we will take hold of that. And we will give you a care package every time you have an Operation Jackdaw camp. And the care package will consist of about 9 different cheeses. The chutneys, the knives, the forks, the plates, the cups, the pork. He supplies the pork, the pickles, the cured meats. And what we do is, so once we meet everybody at the pub, everybody has to fill a health form in. All right. We've got to make sure liability's done and that. And the reason why we done that is we had a YouTube guest turned up with his mate, and he actually died on us. He died in camp. This is 2 years. To be 2 years this year. He died of a heart attack. Just dropped down. I don't think he had any previous. And it's really bizarre. So Darren in the team has had a heart attack. And he said to him, are you all right? He said, yeah, I'm all right. I just need a burp. I've got pains, blah, blah, blah. He dropped down. But because all my team were all first aid trained and were also defib trained, we kept going on him until the heart team turned up, and obviously he passed away. But he passed away in the woods. He passed away in the exact location of where we camp. And June just gone, we had a big ceremony come down, and all his mates and some of his family come down and everything like that. And, we've done a minute's silence and an applause, and they put his cat badges in the tree. So I told the landlord, the landowner of that, and he said, it's all good. So his cat badge is in the tree. So we're very much sticklers on health forms. We if you don't fill your health form or refuse, then we won't accept you to come on camp. We don't ask much, and the reason why is because, listen, I don't get a lot of young veterans. As you can imagine, we're all getting older. Yeah. We all still think we're invincible, but we ain't. All right, people have EpiPens, so we need to know if your EpiPen's in your right pocket, it's in your right pocket. I know where I'll get it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So once we all meet all the veterans from around the country, we double check their health form. Quite has his iPad, so it's all done professionally. We're all in meet and greet. So we have our blue polo shirts, which is our meet and greet gear. I meet all the veterans. Graham, the landlord, loves to come out and meet people from around the country. And then once that's done, we then walk them up to the woods. We do our intros up there. We then tell them the fire safety bit, the medical gear, all the medical gear's there, all that, emergency vehicles there. And then we let them go and put their tents up. And then we do activities throughout the day, shooting as well, bushcraft skills. And also as well, we kindly ask if they'd like to be filmed. We've had a couple that haven't. We had a special forces lad come down in September, really nice bloke. We was waiting for some humanoid cyborg to come down, and he wasn't. And he wasn't a water mitty either. He was proper real. He brought some kit down for the lads, patches for the boys as well. The squadron he was in, yeah, really nice down to earth bloke. But you could see that he was definitely a cut above the rest. Yeah, definitely a cut above the rest, and really enjoyed himself. I mean, this bloke could drink port, so he drunk a bottle and then bought a bottle and then we had another. So this geezer is like a siphon for port. Anyway, so then once we do the day, we then do a campfire, and then Kai does his mental health check-in. And what we do is we don't directly ask people questions. We don't want to be too invasive. Kai does what you call word drops. So he will drop a word in and see people talk about it. And so, for instance, if I sat there with you and I go talk about, if I turn around and say weight, yeah, somebody starts talking about weight. But when you talk about weight, someone else, it will lead on to a mate getting blown up. Does that make sense? Something small can lead on to something big, and people start opening up talking. Now, these talks can go on to about 2 hours. We never tell anyone to stop talking. We never tell anyone to go, right, that's it now, guys. We wait till they finished. Sometimes it could be half hour, sometimes it could be an hour. Last camp was 2 hours. And then once that's done, we then set up the cheese board around the fire. And then that's the time where Operation Jackdaw as activity has finished, and it's now your own time to just mingle, talk to other people, network, eat as much cheese as you want, and chill out around a log fire. But me and my team, we still remain professional. We don't promote alcohol. We learnt our lesson from our first camp, where some bloke turned up, got absolutely wrecked, and started abusing us all day and all night long. I wanted to kill him, but as a unit, we had to remain professional. We took turns of appeasing this bloke. So we learnt our lesson after that. So as he said, every Operation Jackdaw comes along, I ask for feedback of people. We've never had any negative feedback, which is a bonus. And we always keep in touch with people. My lads don't drink, so we'll have a beer, we'll have a shot of port, but my boys won't be sitting there getting hammered. Yeah, we don't do it. I don't care if someone has a couple of craft beers in their rucksack, because what you pack, you carry it. All right. If someone gets out their car with a case of Stella, that's going back in the car. Because Operation Jackdaw is not that, because you could be sitting there having a good time, drink too many beers. Someone could bring something up in the conversation when we're doing a mental health check-in, and someone could get upset, and it will kick. You bring alcohol with a mental health talk, you're mixing it up wrong. So that once that's happened, one of the lads will remain on duty. So one of the lads will remain on duty all night until the last veteran goes to bed. I generally go to bed early, I do, because it's a long old day. We meet the veterans around about, in the summer months, we meet them about 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon. In the winter months, or like next month, will probably be about midday, 1 o'clock in the afternoon for the daylight hours. But we're up there 2-3 hours beforehand, prepping up the camp, making sure the activities are ready to go, because it's not just a jolly when people turn up and we start doing it there and then. It's already laid out for when you guys turn up. So it's a long day for us. So I generally go to bed about 9. So I generally go to bed straight after the mental health chat, and I'll just go to bed. But one of the lads will remain on duty until the last veteran goes to bed. And then in the morning we get up, we do breakfast, clear up, and then we get out of there. I say goodbye to all the veterans. Then me and my team will have a little bit of a debrief and a cup of tea, talk about the event, and then I make sure that all the veterans, when they get home, contact me to make sure they're all right, and then they'll get feedback. And that's just been going on. But like I said, TikTok has just literally propelled us.
That's good to hear. I wish it had worked for me like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but like I said, I like, for instance, I've put you on my TikTok, so I've already done that. Say, listen, watch the podcast. But once I've come off here, and then I do my next little vid, I will mention you, and I'll say, listen, guys, go over. It's free to follow. It's because it is. You just push the red button, then you to follow.
Yeah.
And the content's really good. So I'll just say, guys, you just need to listen to all these other people talking with Frank on there. So yeah, that's all good. But I suppose really it is what you deliver on content, isn't it? That's what people are going to follow, isn't it? But looking at all the other TikTok videos of veterans and stuff like that, it all centres around mental health.
Yeah.
All of it.
Some of the things I've found hard to grasp, let's say, is there's a couple of types of veterans. There's the entitled veterans, right, who think that everything should be given to them because they're a veteran. And unfortunately, these people do exist. And they're the ones who you'll be getting crappy comments of and stuff like that because you're not pandering to them.
Yeah.
You've got the older veteran who doesn't like the younger veterans. Let's put it how can I put it in a different context? The SA80 and SLR arguments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the majority, especially on TikTok, which I think is a really good platform for veterans, they're all doing a great thing. You've got the types of Ricky, you've got
I've talked to him all the time. Yeah,
right, Alex Harrison.
Yeah,
the likes of them. They're great. I'm still trying to get Ricky on here.
He will come. Listen, he will come on.
I think he's asked him loads of times.
I think he's a bit of a complex character, but yeah, he will come on. He will get on. Yeah,
he swerves it all the time. He does. He's only down the road as well. I've had Alex on, and Alex was brilliant. He's really, really good. Rich Jones came on. His life story is like layer cake. It's great. I loved it. It's just I was just like, just keep talking type of thing.
Yeah.
But the more people we get on platforms like this, I mean, there's another. I'm quite. I wouldn't say collaborate a lot, but I try to nick his guests and I send him some of my guests as well as a guy called Chris Finch who does the Old Paratrooper podcast. And he interviews lots and lots of people, not just veterans. He's going. He'll be massive soon. He really will. And more, more to him. Not jealous at all.
Much. It will turn, mate. It will come for you. It will come good.
It is what it is. I don't do it. I don't do this for likes and whatever. Yeah. I do this to stop me going mad.
Fair play.
And to talk to people and to get the word out there.
Will you come down and join an Op Jackdaw camp?
It's a long way for me, mate.
How far?
Well, I'm up in Northumberland.
Mate, listen, we've had people from Scotland come down to us.
If I get the camper van sorted, I might have a drive down one.
That's cheating. You can drive it down, but you can't camp in it.
I'll get a really long extension.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think my old body can handle a freaking ground anymore, mate.
No, listen, my old man's in his 70s and he comes out with the lads. So yeah, you know what I mean. So
I might give it a shout, mate. I might give it a shout. I've got to have time off at some point.
Yeah.
But no, we might rig that up. Well, I think it's been an hour and 20.
Cool.
And I think we've spoke about as much about Jackdaw as we can. Really,
yeah.
And got it out there. I mean, I'd like to thank you for coming on.
Oh, thank you.
Story and everything like that.
Yeah.
And to push for anyone who's listening to this, go and have a look at the website, which is the website's what?
www.operationjackdaw, all one word, .co.uk.
And there'll be contact forms on there that you can get in touch with the guys.
Yeah, contact. It's easy to navigate. We've made it so simple. It's unreal. Yeah, contact forms on there and the list of dates that you can choose. You just tick the date, fill your name in, and it'll get sent. And then you get a notification to say that we've received it, and you get all your details nearer the time to come down and what kit to bring. We've designed it like a set of orders. Just remind you like the old days, and that's how it comes. So yeah.
One thing I have got to ask: is there any cost to the veterans when they come down to you?
No, it's all free of charge. Never charge anyone.
So there you go. It's free. Get in touch with them. Get down there. Spend a night. Talk to mates. Go down as a group if you can.
Yeah, there is a group coming down in June. Yeah, there's a YouTuber called Let's Tab 59. He stuck it out on his YouTube channel. And all these followers are coming down. So I think it's going to be our biggest camp going. Yeah. So I'll have to let a landowner go.
Tab 59. Is he ex-infantry?
Yeah, he's from my
always goes for a walk with his berry on. Yeah.
Keith Potter. Right, so he's in my regiment. I know him. Yeah.
Yeah, well, tell him I want to get it on one of them on here.
Yeah, he's good to have on there. Yeah.
Yeah, he can talk.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll actually ring him tomorrow. I'll ring him, Andy. Yeah, and if you want, I'll give him your number and just get him to give you a bell. He'll come on there.
Yeah.
I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah,
right. Because I do like watching his videos.
Actually. Yeah, no, I'll do it. I'll do it tomorrow, mate. He'll come on there, 100%. Yeah.
Okay, good. Right, I'm going to stop the recording now. Like I said earlier, it's been great having you on, and thanks
Yep.
for telling us your story. And
It's been a pleasure.
I hope it goes really, really well for you for Operation Jackdaw.
Cheers, pal. Listen, take care, right? I'm glad we
And you,
got
mate.
through the technical issues. Right. Take care, mate. See you later.
Right,
Bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed that podcast. I enjoyed recording it. If you could just hit the like button, and also if you could subscribe and hit the notification bell, that would be great, because it will help the channel grow. The more people will see it, the bigger it'll get, and the more guests I can get on, and the more people I can talk to. Well, I hope you enjoyed it, like I said. Look forward to the next one. Hopefully we'll be out next week as normal. Bye-bye now.
Have you ever watched the love between a woman and her son? After growing him for months, her work has only just begun. First words, first steps are foremost and always on her mind. True gentlemen of glory, you'll find no kind of kind. 'Cause she's the mother of angels. Let's give her our love now. She'll find a way to smile for you. Only God knows how. She gave her child to protect you, so we might live in peace. He died for queen and country, brought home by Hercules. Yes, she's the mother of angels, the mother of angels, the mother of angels. Her memories couldn't hurt her, feelings she never knew she